Toastmaster Peace, your able secretary. So while we wait for the president, Toastmaster Uche, to take the floor and grant this meeting open, let us do some. Okay, you're here now. Okay, so Toastmaster Uche, please take the floor.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Peace, and thank you for reading the mission statement. And I'm sure that every time you read that, if you look in between the lines, you see that it's actually a call to service, and there's so much you can gain from Toastmasters by being in the meetings. Our theme for the month is Reach for the Stars. We've had this for a couple of months, and I'm sure it's for a reason. Reach for the stars. The idea behind that is that we're able to look beyond the goals that we've set in front of us to ask ourselves, can we even jump, can we shoot and reach for the stars? And by doing that, you'll be able to achieve so much, a lot of things that you've planned for yourself and even beyond. But today I just want to throw a small little tangent around reaching for the stars. Before you reach for the stars, or while you reach for the stars, we're in challenging times. A lot of things are happening around us. Many of us have lost friends, relatives. We've had people who have been sick. COVID has ravaged. The third wave is upon us. Even though in some climes, especially Nigeria, it's coming down, but it's had a big effect on us as a people. So I'd say, while you're reaching for the stars, reach out to your neighbor. Reach for your neighbor. Stretch your hands and find them. Look at us, Pecten Toastmasters. We used to have hybrid meetings. We sit together, laugh together, play together, and it's easy for us to stretch our hands and touch ourselves and play. But today, we meet virtually. And even though some of us may somewhat connect with ourselves virtually, but it's not as it used to be. But to make up for that, we have many ways that you could reach out to your neighbor or your friend. You never know what that little hello you say to him could be, could help him or her become. You could say hello to him and it could stop him from getting depressed or sad. So my charge to all of us today is, as much as possible, let's reach out to our neighbors and friends, our colleagues, even before we start reaching for the stars. Over to you, Toastmaster of today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Uche. Thank you very much for that warm welcome. Welcome to another Toastmasters meeting. And today I will be your host. Now, I'm sure you know the famous boxer, Mike Tyson. He is known for his renowned art in boxing, and he's a champion in his field. He said something really interesting. He said, I am a dreamer. I have to dream and reach for the stars. Then if I miss a star, then I'll grab a handful of cloud. So, in your bid in trying to reach the stars, don't forget to open-minded, let your arms be wide open and grab as much cloud as you can. So while we move on into the bits and pieces of today, we're going to introduce all the roles of today. Apparently, I'm going to be wearing multiple hats. First, I would like to introduce the accountant. Apparently, he had to step out to get something quickly, so I will be doing the introduction for him. The role of the accountant is to count pause fillers, check out for pause fillers in the speeches of everyone who speaks today in today's meeting. Next, we have the grammarian. And our grammarian is Toastmaster Ngozi. Toastmaster Ngozi, please, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call. I'm struggling to, laptop, but in the time being, I'll use the phone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our meeting of today. It's my pleasure as your grammarian of the day. I am Toastmaster Ngozi Wuli. The role of the grammarian is to watch out for the right use of words and also to ensure the usage of the day's word of the day. So that's what I was meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ngozi. So, the word of the day is artifact. Please, can you see the screen?
Yes, artifact.
Pecten.
Yes. So, Toastmaster Ngozi, please walk us through the word of the day, the meaning, and how to pronounce it.
It's pronounced as artifact. An artifact is an object made by human beings, typically of culture or historical interest. The plural is artifact, but the singular noun, it is a noun, is pronounced as artifact. Artifact. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ngozi. So I encourage every one of us to make great use of the word artifact. However, I cannot be described as an artifact, but I believe that I have made so many artifacts in my short time. Moving on. Okay, so the next role is the table topics master, Toastmaster Joy. Pardon me, sorry, it's the role of the timer, which is me. So, the role of the timer is to monitor the time for each speech during the meeting. We have short speeches and long speeches. For the long speeches, which is the manual speech, the time frame of the speech is 5 minutes, and I'll put up colors to indicate different time periods in each speech. We have the green, the yellow, and the red. The green color indicates that you have qualified for time. The yellow color indicates that you should get ready to wrap up your speech. The red color indicates that after this time frame, your speech will be disqualified. For manual speeches, the green color will be put out at 5 minutes. The yellow color will be put out at 6 minutes, and the red at 7 minutes with a grace of 25 seconds. For the table topics, at 1 minute, the speech is qualified and it is green. At 1 minute 30 seconds, the yellow banner will be put up, and at 2 minutes, the red banner will be put up. And each table topic speech has a grace of 25 seconds, after which the speech will be disqualified. Any speech that is disqualified will not be voted for. Thank you. So, handing over to the Toastmaster of the day, which is I am, I would now introduce the table topics master of the day, Toastmaster Joy. Toastmaster Joy, are you on call?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening,
Okay.
everyone.
Hi.
Okay, so am I to introduce my role or just enter straight into the table topic section?
No, just introduce your role.
Okay, good evening and guests for people this evening. My name is Toastmaster Joy, and today I will be the Toastmaster. I will be the table topics master. See, please, I'm stealing your role. I'll be the table topics master of the day. Today, my task is to organize.
Can't hear you.
After which they will be scored. Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, you broke out at the
Please confirm
point.
that you can. Okay, sorry, some network glitches. So I was saying that my task today is to put out some topics, interesting topics as regards our team, and then the theme of the month, and then call on a few people to talk about these topics in 2 minutes and Afterwards, they will be judged by how they take up this topic and how much they can say in the space of this short time. So, looking forward to seeing our beautiful speakers take up impromptu speeches this evening. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joy. Okay, next to introduce our table topics evaluator, who is of no other person, Toastmaster Amarachi. Toastmaster Amarachi, please take the virtual floor.
Thank you very much, able secretary, but I expected you to add the money back of Pecten Toastmasters. That should be my AKA.
Apologies.
So
Our
it's
no other money bags.
it's fine. Good evening, everyone. So
Hi.
I'm Tara Barasa. I'll be the table topics evaluator for today. And my evaluation will be based on my own objective opinion about each speech. So what I'm doing basically is to give feedback to all participants on each of their table topics. So we'll have to give likes, commendation on each of the topics. So back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Amarachi, our money bag. Apologies once more. So, next, we're introducing our general evaluator, Toastmaster Tari, our able Vice President, Education. Toastmaster Tari,
Good
please take the
evening,
floor.
Toastmasters and guests. Please confirm
Good
you can hear me.
evening. Yes,
Yes,
we
you can
can
hear
hear
me.
you.
Thank you very much. I will be playing the role of the general evaluator today. My role is simple. It is just to observe everything that goes on in this meeting from the beginning to the end, from the speakers to the people who come up for table topics, to the manual speech givers, to the evaluators themselves, to the timekeeper and the other role players. Every single thing about this meeting will be evaluated, and that's my role today. So enjoy the ride. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. Lastly, I will call on our manner speech evaluator, Toastmaster Folusho. Please, is Toastmaster Folu on the call?
I think I saw it earlier.
Yes, I'm on the call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our former president, please take the virtual floor.
All right. So good evening, everyone, Toastmasters and guests. My role today is that of the manual evaluator. I will be evaluating 2 speeches. And essentially, I would be listening attentively and looking at the structure, the flow, and several other aspects of the speech they would make. And then I would give feedback at the end of the day. Back to you, Toastmaster. Peace.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Folu. So, now to the main course of the day. Toastmaster Joy. Toastmaster Joy, are you ready for us? Toastmaster Joy.
Is Toastmaster
Please,
Joy
can anyone
struggling with
hear
mic
me?
issues? I can hear you. Toastmaster Joy, we can't hear you if you're speaking. You need to unmute. I think she may be struggling with her network. So we will probably need to switch it up. If it's possible, if
Okay.
the first speaker is ready, we could take the first manual speech, and then when she comes in, we can then go over to table topics.
Okay. So moving on to the manual speeches of the day, I'll call on Toastmaster Folu to introduce our first speaker, Toastmaster Essay, for our manual speech. Toastmaster Folu. Please, can
Hello?
Just
anyone
matter
hear
of the
me?
day, you are still sharing your screen. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Please, what is showing on my screen?
Word of the day artifact is right.
Okay, sorry. Let me share.
Oh, it's fine now. It's
So
better.
I've stopped sharing. Okay, thank you. So, Toastmaster follow, please over to you.
All right. Can you hear me, please? Confirm.
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
All right. So the next speech, or the first manual speech we would take today, will be Toastmaster Essay Okereka's Level 3, Project 1. So that's the first project in level on Level 3, rather. And her pathway is Visionary Communication. The speech is titled Oya Gist Me. Oya Gist Me. Essay typically has very interesting titles. And so I will just let us know what the purpose of this speech is. So the purpose of her project is to practice developing a communication plan. So it will be my delight to welcome Toastmaster Ese Okereka to the lectern to blow us away with Oya Gist Me. Toastmaster Ese, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Follow. Baby girl, come on. I saw that your post. Oh yeah, gist me now. What is it about, Seth? You've been disturbing us up and down. Hmm. ah, you saw my post and you didn't even respond. Did you share it? Please, I beg you. All the WhatsApp group you're in, the one of your village people, the one of your enemies, your book club, your family and friends, if it's the people you're borrowing money from, your church, please make sure you share that flyer everywhere. I'm begging you in the name of God. If you want me to gist you, you see what I wrote there, that we are having a contest. Come and enjoy. So you're always asking me why I'm such a wonderful baby girl, how I'm able to get all these my fans. See, it's because of how I talk. You see this sweet mouth? I have it. I have it enough. I have it enough. Good evening, everyone. I am Toastmaster Okereka Esiogede. And today I will be talking of Oya Gist Me. You know, if you are like me, an average Nigerian who likes to hear stories, who enjoys stories in whatever form, maybe on Netflix, maybe in a book, or our average Nollywood movie. When you tell someone, Oya Gist Me, it is a question that is asking, tell me more about this thing. I want to know more about this information you have. So gist me, tell me. Now in Toastmasters, we have what is called the communication plan. What is a communication plan? Basically, one of the main tenets of Toastmasters is about improving how we speak to each other, how we communicate. And one of my favorite former president of the United States and favorite writers and orators, Benjamin Franklin, says, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. And what that quote embodies is about how we have to make plans in whatever we do. Now, when you have to communicate, you have to build a plan, and not just any plan. When you build a communication plan, does not necessarily mean for an event like a Toastmaster meeting. It could be even for, let's say, a show. You want to host a show, you have to plan how you communicate. You want to talk with people, you have to plan your communication, how you speak with them. And in Toastmasters, you are advised that you build a communication plan. Now, how do you build a communication plan? First of all, you have to know your goals. That is number one. Your goals, if you are anywhere popular with the acronym that we call SMART goals, what does that mean? It just means they should be specific, S, M for measurable, A for attainable, R for realistic, and T for timely. Now, your goal means in any communication plan you build, in any gist you want to spread or share around the world, be it a festivity, be it an event, be it a plan even for the year, be it a program, you have to ensure it falls within these SMART goals, meaning it has to be very clear. What is the message you want people to know? I want you to come attend this event by X time. I want you to know that reading books will make you smarter. I want you to know that if you come to my church, you will find the love of your life. Whatever the message you are trying to spread, you have to be very clear about it. And then it has to be measurable. How frequently do you want to share this message? How frequently is this message, would it need to be spread? Is this something that you have to keep telling people over and over again? Is it something that reoccurs all the time? You have to consider this in your goals when you plan them. And then there is the audience. So I can come out in Toastmasters meeting today and tell my friend can see a status and say, Essay, oh yeah, gist me, what's your event about? But trust me, there is no way I would be talking to, for example, a professor in university and I say, hello, sir, oh yeah, gist me about your opinion on the research I submitted. I am sure you can almost imagine if it is a virtual conversation, he would probably end the call or walk me out of the office. You have to know who you're speaking to when you want to communicate something. And in Toastmasters, you have your primary audience, your secondary audience, and your tertiary audience. No, it's not like our academic school. Primary just means the core people you are identifying that you're sure of this message is going to. So if I have a Toastmasters event and I am publicizing it to professionals, I have identified them as my core people. If I am hosting a reading at a museum, we all know that museums are filled with wonderful artifacts. And I want to do an exhibition in a museum. I want to ensure that the people coming for it are people of a specific demographic. Those are my primary audience. Then who are my secondary audience? Those are the people that, oh, maybe if I put it on my status, they'll say, oh, I saw your message about this or that. Or I saw that you were going hiking. If I'm not a fitness guru, trust me, I would not be interested in going hiking. And then there is the tertiary. These are the audience. There are people that they may or may not get in contact with your message, but honestly, it doesn't really count or it's not important to them. You have to identify who your primary audience is and know how you communicate to them. And then there's the tone. Maybe it's an upbeat tone. Hey guys, what's up? There's gonna be a party this weekend. If I'm putting that kind of message out there, I almost always know the audience I'm sending it to. But if, for example, it's a sad event, like recently in my team, we sadly lost a colleague. And when the message was sent out, of course, they're not going to say, hello, everyone, guess what? We lost this. Of course not. It had to come in a more somber tone. Our LT took the responsibility of ensuring that they crafted a message that shared it, that was respectful to the person and ensure that we all shared that sense of bereavement. And then there's the timeline. See, yes, so you can decide your goal is you want to send a message and you are sure that you've identified who the audience is for and you even already know how relevant it is. But if you're not setting timelines, trust me, your communication plan would have no fruition. When you want to communicate, you have to set a timeline. I know this is happening maybe in March. By January, I am going to ensure that every week I send out reminders. How am I going to send out reminders? That is the last, your communication. Yes, even in your communication plan, you have to have a communication. Oh, maybe I would send email reminders. I would share it on all the WhatsApp groups. I would ensure I do a Google form that people can fill and confirm that they would attend. And of course, there's the popular informal ones like word of mouth. I would speak to everyone I see. Hi, are you coming for this event? Over and over again, repeating to them, talking to people, telling people to help me spread the word. And then, of course, the personal favorite of a lot of us, social media. For example, I was invited to Obi Kubana's mother's burial. Did you know that? Because he said everybody's invited. And that was how me, I know I got my own invite. He communicated in the channel that met me, his target audience. When you're building a communication plan, Toastmasters has advised and they even have a template on how you should structure it. Whatever your event, you could be having an art exhibition in museum, you could be planning to maybe even talk with a team consistently over time. Whatever you are doing, just ensure that you know what the goal is. Ensure they are smart, they are specific, they are measurable, they can be attainable, they are realistic, and they are timely. And then what? You have to identify your audience. Know the people you're sending this message to. Who are the core people you want to ensure it would meet? And then what channel are you sharing it to them? You could use your newsletter, you could use social media, you can make a flyer, you can send an email. Determine the way you want to communicate that message and then ensure you have a realistic timeline. You know that if I want someone to come from this event by this time, I have to tell them so they have enough time to build it into their schedule. And ensure that your tone is relevant. You have to know when it's supposed to be upbeat or when it's supposed to be sober. And trust me, Shonda Rhimes, one of my favorite authors, said in the book Year of Years that luck implies I didn't do anything. It implies something was given to me. So most times when people have a really good event or they get good turnout and things, people are like, you're so lucky. A lot of people came to your event. But what Jordan Rhymes advises us is that you can't call me lucky. Luck comes from doing a lot of work, being diligent in spending a lot of work, being diligent and planning. So when we plan, just like Benjamin Franklin had said, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So now, as we go about our day, as we plan our events, let us ensure we plan and build communications plans that will help us in ensuring that we'll be better, awesome individuals. Thank you.
Is a round of applause for Toastmaster Effie. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Effie. That was a very nice speech. So moving on to the next speech, I would call on Toastmaster Folu to introduce the next speaker.
All right, thank you. The next manual speech will be given by Toastmaster Uche, and this is his final speech, level 4 final speech on the persuasive influence pathway. The speech is titled Project Equator, and the purpose is for him to practice strategies for adjusting to unexpected changes to a finalized plan. Now, this is an unusual project, I would say. It's more or less what I would call a BiFeed project, in the sense that at some point he would make his speech, and then afterwards there would be an opportunity for impromptu responses. So I'll just let him explain how the audience participation would go. Toastmaster Uche, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Toastmaster Folu. Please confirm that you can hear me. I have struggled with my audio and video with 3 different devices.
Why
Can you
you
hear me
just like
clearly?
It's muffled.
Can you hear me clearly?
It's very
Not
dull.
clearly, not very clear.
We can hear you, but it can be better. We turn up your volume a little bit.
is it better? Maybe I'll just change. Is it clearer?
Slightly better.
I doubt.
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
just use this headset. Okay, can anyone hear me clearly now? This should be better, I think, I guess.
We can hear you, Uche. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I will be doing a level 4 speech, just like my evaluator has introduced or has explained. And if you look in the chat box, you would see what is expected of you. I would present a project plan, a standard project plan, the Toastmasters way. And then your job as the audience is to listen. At the end of my presentation of the plan, you would then ask questions that would disrupt my plan. And examples of the questions are on the chat box. An example would be, what if a life event happened, like I move to a new city, or I get a divorce, I get married, or maybe my budget falls short, and things like that. That would be what will happen at the end of the meeting, at the end of my presentation. My presentation will be between 5 to 7 minutes, and then the question you will have like 1 minute to look through the disruption ideas, and then disruption ideas should take between 5 to 10 minutes for you to sort of ask your questions, and my job is to answer in a very articulate manner. At this juncture, I'd like to ask if it's clear and if I can start. Any questions, please?
Is it possible to go over that one more time? Yeah.
All right.
So
going over it one more time. I will give a speech, and at the end of my speech, you will take some of the questions that are there in the chat box and ask me those kinds of questions. Your job is to try to find out if I'll be able to adjust to any change that may have happened according to the plan that I already have. So those things in the chat box are what you would ask me at the end of my speech. We'll take not more than 5, take at least 3, but not more than 5 discussion ideas. You shouldn't, it's not sacrosanct that you must stick to all the questions there on the chat box. You can invent yours, but it should just be something that disrupts the project plan that I would be presenting to you today.
Fire on.
All right, thank you very much. Please confirm that you can see my screen. I'm sharing right now.
Yes, we can now.
All right.
Yes, I can.
Project Equator, phase 1. And I'm sure a lot of you will be wondering, why did he name this project Project Equator? I'm sure you're aware that the equator is the midline or the center of the Earth. And what this project is trying to do would be to converge and bring everything that we do in my company in collecting data related to COVID-19 in one place, bring it to a middle ground central. As a background, in my company, COVID-19 tests are carried out every single day for personnel prior to the embarkation to work sites. Every day, people get their nose poked and their mouths are also, samples are taken from their mouth and the samples are taken to the lab to be processed. And the outcome decides if you'll be going to site or not. At least 1,500 samples are collected monthly and there is accompanying paperwork. If you pause for a second to imagine the paperwork that accompanies 1,500 samples every month, you understand that it is very huge. For every sample that we take, we have at least 2 forms that accompany it to the lab. These paper consent forms have been used for at least 2 years. Now, the purpose of this project, of Project Equator, is to improve the efficiency of the sampling process, as well as data privacy by digitizing the COVID-19 data collecting forms. So our aim or our purpose is to turn all of those forms that we use in data collection to digital forms. And we hope that this can improve the efficiency of the sampling process. The deliverables, the key deliverables we have are to have or to make a digital consent form and a unique identifier generator. Now, don't think about the generator is at your backyard. It's just an online platform that can help you automatically generate unique identifiers for every sample that is taken. The milestones we have for this project will be: number 1, the designing of the online consent form, the testing of that consent form, and the selection of a pilot quarantine center where these samples will be taken, the pilot run itself, re-evaluation, and then subsequently the go live. We expect that when we're done with this project, it will help us improve data privacy. It will eliminate the use of paper forms. It will significantly reduce the backlog of what we call ODK entries, which are open data kit entries. These are data collected from these forms, and also improve the efficiency of the sampling process. The resources we need for this project are: the first is the online certified platform that we can use to build this consent form, and it has to be HIPAA certified. And HIPAA is just telling us that that platform would protect data privacy. We also need personal computers for the members of the team and internet data for all of them on a monthly basis. And you can see the budget there by the side. The team members are myself, James, Josephine, Xavier, and Juliana. Now, what is the case for change? 210,000 pieces of paper have been wasted since the inception of this COVID-19 data collection. The consent forms and the other forms that we use have constituted 210,000 pieces. We've spent at least 5 million naira on the purchase of these forms for documentation purposes. If you imagine that we've done 105,000 tests and at least 50 naira per test or per sample, we have spent at least 5 million naira, in purchasing paper. We have a backlog of 20,000 plus paper forms that have not been uploaded on the platform, on the online platform. We spend at least 40 man hours to impute this data for over 300 plus individuals on the online platform. My department is the highest consumer of paper in the company. And in the past 1 year, we have made 15 errors because of improperly filled, completed questionnaires. And then to put the icing of the cake on the cake, the company can lose 3% of its annual earning, which amounts to around $600 million, if anybody successfully sues and wins a case of a data privacy breach. Ladies and gentlemen, it is high time we change from the way we are to the online HIPAA certified consent forms. Now, this is a graphical explanation of the presentation of the milestones for this project. Beginning of the project starts 1st of September, and we expect to go live on step 7, if you look at it there, by 6th of August. But in between this, we will do a pilot test from 28th to the 5th of October. And then by 21st of October, we would then select a new item to digitize, just like the consent form. Now here's a project plan. Our project plan has been distributed across the folks who are in the team, and everybody has a specific task to undertake. From creating the project charter, which you just saw, to leadership, engaging leadership for their buying, up to the pilot, the go live reevaluation, and even the plan for phase 2. We have posted this to the members of the team, and each of them know the tasks that they are to undertake and how long it should take them to do this. Now, one more thing before we get to the end of this presentation is the way we intend to generate some of the numbers that we'll be using as in the open data kit. Like I said, when we pick this data from the consent form, we upload them on a platform, which is like double entry. But this time, we hope that once we take the numbers, we will straight up send them to our partners that we usually send our consent form, the details of our consent form to. And we hope that we're able to design or get a sample ID generation platform that will just get us all of the numbers that each of the samples need, and it will be uploaded to the platform, and thereby it doesn't need anybody to take time to type these numbers or these names again. So to do this, we would assign different unique identifiers to different people when they come to get their samples taken. And in the end, these unique identifiers will be used by them over and over every time they come to take their samples. The last part of this project is just to tell you the expected gains. And I said this earlier before, but just to reiterate. At the end of this project, we expect that there will be a significant reduction in the backlog, I told you 20,000 of ODK entries that we have. It will also eliminate the use of paper forms. So it will reduce costs, we'll have cost savings, and also reduce the paper wastage that we have. A lot of the paper that we have even turned to artifacts, and this will help us reduce them as much as possible. We'll also improve data privacy for the personnel tested and not give them the opportunity to sue my company and be able to win $600 million. It also reduce by 90% the man hours that we needed for people to enter this data manually. It will improve data fidelity and improve the efficiency of the sampling process. Toastmasters and guests, COVID-19 has brought us into an age where we believe anything is possible digitally. And this is an opportunity for us to take that digital revolution into the processes that we handle and make sure that we get the gains from it, improve efficiency, and most of all, keep our company safe. That'll be all from me. I will then take it back to you to ask you to take 2 minutes, look at the chat box, the disruption ideas, and if you have any question or any disruption idea to share, now is the time. So the floor is open. Anybody has a question?
Timer card is red.
Okay. All right.
I have a
Essay.
question.
Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Oh, okay. So what if I saw your, I think you can say, I saw your presentation for your budget, the estimation for resources. And what if, as it is right now, they say they have the concern that we do not want you to drop our man hours. You're telling us one of the benefits of this thing is that it will reduce man hours. So are you saying after these people do this work, they're not going to have jobs again? Like, how would you manage that situation if they say, if you reduce the manpower, well, you have to tell us what those other people would do because we've already given them a contract for a year. So what would they do? What would you recommend in that context? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And thank you very
Yeah.
much for your question. So this is if there's a pushback to say that we cannot, what would then be left of the people who would, in quote, have no job to do? Now, there are
Yes.
other parts of the business or my department that we need a lot of manpower. Take, for instance, we've been trying to get inventory for a lot of things in our stores, and we're trying to keep data fidelity from that end of things. We can move those people to make that more efficient and even improve, get some gains from that other part of our business. So in nutshell, even if we're gaining manpower or man hours here, there are other places in the business that is lacking, that needs more people to help improve the efficiency there, and that is where we channel these people's effort to.
Okay, thank you. I have another question. What if the users that are going to be filling this form, have you asked them that they will be okay with now filling things online versus paper? A lot of people remain comfortable with putting information on paper rather than online. How would you manage that situation? It doesn't seem it's captured in your project.
Okay, so one of the milestones in the project is a user testing. And this means that we will find a few people who would test this platform and see if it's user friendly and if they have any concerns around it. But if we have specific people that say that they wouldn't be able to fill it because they don't have the opportunity to, because it's online, we would take that as an exception and find a way to make sure that they are able to fill it. What would the kinds of the way we have tried to manage it in thinking about it is that we can have a platform where people could just go type in and they don't necessarily need to use their own data or their own phones. And that's what we're going to be doing in this particular quarantine center that we have. So when people get there, if you don't have an internet-enabled phone or device, you can use a particular device that will be sanitized after every person has used it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And my last question is, what if your role has to change in terms of legacy or sustainability of this project? I saw you had a list of your team members, but if we decide we're moving into, say, another unit in your team, how would you plan in managing this space? In fact, you've been given a new job role today. What now happens?
So the way we're trying to manage that is by making sure that everybody in the team is carried along as the project is moving. We have a project coordinator and project analysts that are they are very intertwined in all of the things that are happening. So if there's a change of role today, it will be easy to hand over to folks in the team and they'll be able to carry it on. Another way we've tried to mitigate that is by having the project plan shared across all of the people in the team, so that while they look at the plan, it is easy for them to take it on if anything happens to some other person in the team. Thank you. There's one more question, which is, I think that's Emmanuel Agege. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, a very laudable project. I want to start by making an observation. You intend to start a program in September, and I'm seeing you in between that you are going live in August. Is that deliberate? Then the other one, before you coming up with this idea, which is very good, if everybody can buy it, have you been able to assess how many people in the that feed this program that are literate, that can use the scientific or the digital system you want to go into?
Okay, so you have two questions in one, and maybe that would be
one is observation, the other one is a question.
Okay. Okay, so the observation, thank you so much for that observation. And I think you may be a resource for this team in helping us to put some of these slides together. So we can meet outside of this meeting to see if you could be part of the team to help us put that. But that was an observation. There was a typographical error. Thank you so much for that. The second question was if we have done a survey or check if, to people who, to know if everybody will be able to use the online platform. Yes, we have done something like that. We have developed other online platforms. People who go to these work sites have to fill a particular form before they go, to sites. And those platforms that they use are online. And we found out that a lot of them, in fact, 100%, if you don't fill that form, you can't go to site. And everybody who goes to site fills that form either from their phone or a computer. So we are confident that if those people could fill that form, they'll be able to fill this one. Thank you very much. We'll take the last question from Mr. Toastmaster Jane Henry before we then go over. Okay,
thanks.
so
thanks.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, thanks, TM Uche. I just have one question. Assuming at the verge of the project, the key personnel involved in the project, the key personnel go down with COVID-19, what will you do?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. But because of want of time, I would have to pause here. I would answer this question on a personal basis. So if you can reach me after this Toastmasters meeting, I will get back to you on the answer to that question. Thank you very much for listening to me, Toastmasters and guests. I'll hand back over to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Uche. Please a round of applause for Toastmaster Uche. That was a very insightful task and you nailed it.
Toastmaster, please, is really low.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. Can you hear me better now? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So next is the table topic session. Toastmaster Joy, are you ready for us? Okay. So hand
Yes,
over
I am.
Please take the vector form.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Peace. Good evening again, Toastmasters and guests. We're going to go straight ahead into the table topic segments. We've had a very enlightening and interesting manual speech segment. So how this segment will work is there are 4 questions, and we'll have 4 volunteers pick any number. And when you pick a number, I will read out the question, and you'll be given 1 minute 30 seconds to 1 minute 30 seconds to 2 minutes to speak on this topic, and at the end you'll be evaluated. The purpose of this segment is to test our skills to give impromptu speeches and how well we can do without preparation. So please, who will be our first volunteer? Who will break the ice? Questions are pretty interesting and they're simple, so fear not. You can signify by raising your hands. Okay, I see one hand. Okereka Estelgene, Toastmaster. Always ready. All right, dear. From numbers 1 to 4, please pick a number.
I pick number 4.
Number 4. Question number 4 says, do you believe in reincarnation? Whatever answer you give, you have to tell us why. Over to you, Toastmaster Essie.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and good evening. Do I believe in reincarnation? If you grew up in Nigeria like me, chances are you would believe in reincarnation. So I absolutely believe in reincarnation. I have seen depictions in Nollywood. I have read first-hand experiences from people who I trust. And also I have had family members and close friends who claim or have been told that they were people who were reincarnated. Now, if you are in Nigeria, Nigeria is a very cultural, it's a place that has awesome cultural norms and sometimes terrible cultural norms. There is a reason why half the artifacts in our museums are not recent and not old artifacts. They are artifacts of maybe the past century. Now, what is a cultural norm that we all like? Reincarnation, right? Now, a long time ago, there was this idea of Ogbanjes when they say, oh, Ogbanjes were people who these were children or children who did not stay long and they would probably die before they even reach teenage years. And the idea of Ogbanjes was supposed to be children who refused to stay. But the ones who stayed, the ones who had traits that were similar to those who had already died, those were the ones seen as reincarnated. For example, I have a younger sister that everyone swears is a reincarnation of my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. In her mannerisms, everyone who knew my grandmother, we never met her, but in their personality, in their mannerisms, in how they talk, how they behave, people claim that she is the exact reincarnate. And of course, it already means she is my father's favorite. In fact, he calls her my mother, my favorite. That means even when we eat, she always gets the biggest portion of meat that he gives to her. So yes, I believe in reincarnation. It is replete in our history, it is replete in our culture. You find it in our stories, you find it in our movies of people who come back to us, people who do not stay as long. But yes, reincarnation is one cultural norm that I don't think is ever going to go away. I absolutely believe in reincarnation. And I'm hoping that someday in the future, when I am a honorary ancestor watching down on my people, someone like me is going to reincarnate again. Thank you. I'm back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Essie. Please let's give a round of applause for Toastmaster Essie. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was
Actually,
great.
so funny story is when I was listening to Toastmaster Essie's speech, I remembered that actually there's this belief that I am my great grandma reincarnated. So it was further solidified when I was 3 years old, and I told my mom and my grandmom when they told me. One time, my mom told me, "Shut up! Stop doing that! Shut up!" And I said, "Don't tell me shut up! Don't you know I'm your mother?" And from then on till today, I speak to you. They do not want to let it go. They believe I am my great grandmother reincarnated. So, Essay, I absolutely understand you and I feel you. So, who will go next? Okay, so I can see another hand up. This looks like Toastmaster Peace. Toastmaster Peace, over to you. Please pick questions 1, 2, or 3.
Question 1.
Okay, question 1. Question 1 says, what does culture mean to you? What does culture mean to you? Over to you, Toastmaster Peace.
Thank you very much, Table Topics Master Joy. Culture. Culture is more than a way of life to me. Culture is the way we breathe, our existence, our choice of actions. But most importantly, culture is a learned behavior for me. Let me give you a story. My mom died when I was 3 years old, and my dad remarried a year after. My stepmom was like, pardon me, my stepmom is like an angel to me. And I am a spitting image of my stepmom's character. Biologically, we are not connected. However, the way I speak, talk, eat, the way I react is from the behaviors I learned from her, the behaviors I picked from her. If I was Asian and I was born in Nigeria, I don't think I would prefer Asian noodles to jollof rice. I would be a strong lover of pounded yam. So, culture is learned. However, in some cases, we have where people say an apple, the wise saying when people say an apple cannot fall far from its tree. No matter how you may be away from where you're from, you somehow tend to exhibit the way of your origin. It is more of a learned behavior for me. Thank you. Over to you, Tabletop Senator.
Please give a round of applause for Toastmaster Peace. I've learned a little bit more of what culture is. So in my mind, I used to think culture was when people tie wrapper on their chest and dance at Tilogu. But now I've come to understand that it's way more than that. Culture is a way of life. It's what we learn, what we see, what we breathe, and our existence in general. So thank you for that expose, Toastmaster Peace. So we have two more questions, question 2 and question 3. Who would go next? I'm not seeing any hands. In the absence of hands, I think I would have to go through. Okay, great. I see Toastmaster Emmanuel Agege's hands up. Over to you, sir. Please pick a question
Can you
2
give me
or
question?
3.
Can you give me question 2?
All right, question 2 it is. Question 2 says, tell us about a time you picked your dreams against all odds and how did it turn out? Tell us a time you picked your dreams against all odds and how did it turn out? Over to you, Toastmaster Emmanuel.
Okay, I'm the kind of person that believe that one's life is patterned according to your dream. And most of the time when you hear people talk about dream, some think is the one you lie down and you begin to be in the abstract world. But I see it a different way. It is what is real, not abstract. If you decide to be an engineer and you mean it and you face it, you become an engineer. You may not have been brought up from the background where every other person were previously engineer. So there are, I give you a typical example. When I was in the secondary school, my dream was to be a musician because I love music. I love people singing. I love seeing people play musical equipment. But as time progresses, I began to see that that will not be my ultimate. That might not be the what according to my passion. Because one day I was in the hospital and I had a woman who was in labor, and the way the nurses were yelling at her, keep quiet. When you were doing it at night, you were not shouting. Now you want to deliver, you are shouting. That changed my dream. That changed my perspective. And I told my mom, I hope to be in a position where I can help somebody who is in pain. And from that very moment, my dream of being a musician changed. And I have to come home. Unfortunately, fortunately at the beginning, my dad bought the idea that yes, he want to have a medical doctor in the family. But unfortunately, at my secondary school, class 3, I lost my dad. But I told myself, I am not going to dump this idea. If I cannot be a medical doctor, I can be a nurse, provided I'm able to touch lives, I'm able to make somebody laugh. And that has actually helped me. And I see, at times I see somebody on the road, I say, those treatment you gave to me last time were superb. And it gives me joy, which I saw that is giving me more pleasure than what I would have gained if I were to be a musician at last. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause for Toastmaster Emmanuel. Wow. Wow. That was a very inspiring speech. Circumstances that happen in our lives should not sway us or stop us from chasing our dreams. Thank you so much that you're saving so many lives today. Okay, we have one more question. Question 3. So who's going to take that last question? Do I see any hands up? No hands. In the absence of anybody's hands, I'm just going to randomly pick someone. Let me look through this list. I'm seeing a new name. Okay, Toastmaster Celine Wokutubo. Please, can you hear me? Toastmaster Celine, are you on the call? Okay. Toastmaster Folu Alamina, please take up our last question. We saved the best for the last. Toastmaster Folu. Is Toastmaster Folu on the call? Can anyone hear me? Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear.
Okay. Oh, okay. So she's just prompted me that she's attending something urgent. In the absence of Toastmaster Folu, I would give it to Toastmaster Folu's bestie, Toastmaster Tari. Toastmaster Tari, please, can you take up the last question?
Isn't it because he just saw me on mute? Toastmaster Joy.
Actually, that was the reason I called.
Okay, go ahead. Give me the last question.
Yes. Okay. The last question is, if you were given the chance to choose your powers as a deity, what will it be and why? If you were given the chance to choose your powers as a deity, what would it be and why? Over to you, Toastmaster Tari.
If I was given the chance to choose my powers as a deity, what would it be and why? Great question.
Exactly.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Thank you for having me. If I was to have an opportunity to choose the powers to change humanity, it would be to change the hearts of men. That is what I would choose. I find out that a lot of problems we have in the world as a result of love lost between people, love lost in humanity, people not loving themselves because of preconceived notions, differences in educational background, differences in religion, differences in culture and tribe, and it all boils down to love. If we have the ability to love each other the way the Heavenly Father loves each of us, then I believe that most of the problems we have as a society and as human beings in general will be done with. There wouldn't be talks of wars. There wouldn't be rumors of wars. There wouldn't be cases where people are arraigned for murder because one person has killed the other out of some form of disagreement. We wouldn't have people stealing from each other. We wouldn't have people fighting on the streets. We wouldn't even have governments not doing what they're supposed to do for the citizens because they'll be motivated by love. Love makes the world go round. And if we claim to be a people, especially those of us who believe in God, who believe in a supreme being, if we claim to love this God that we trust in, then we should be able to love ourselves. There's a portion of the Bible I love so much that says, if you do not love the person you see beside you, then how can you love God who you do not see? And so if I was to be given a chance to choose the power that I would make use of, a power that I feel would help humanity, it would be to breathe love into the heart of each and every man. From the moment they are born, through life's challenges and situations and circumstances till the moment they die. If love breathes and reigns supreme in their hearts, then the world will be a better place. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Wow. It's a round of applause for Toastmaster Tari. See, we were taken aback. We couldn't even, we didn't know when you had finished and we forgot to clap. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tari, and thanks to every single person that summoned the courage to take up a question in this segment. I truly enjoyed myself, and I'm sure every other person on this call also did. Right now, I'll hand over the control of the meeting back to the Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster, please, over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Joy. That was a very interesting section. However, how is the voting going to be conducted?
Okay, so I'm going to put in the chat box everyone that has given a speech and the topics that they spoke on. So we'll send the votes to the Toastmaster of the day. But the thing now is, since we are not using Zoom, everyone gets to see it. Normally, we would send it privately. But now that there's no opportunity to do that on Teams, I guess everyone will just see the winner, I guess. So please, I'll put up the names of everyone that gave a speech, and then I'll put numbers behind their names. Just type in the chat box your favorite table topic speaker, and we'll take the highest vote from there. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Joy. So now I will hand over to the general evaluator to I'll hand over to the general evaluator to call on the manual speech evaluator for manual speech evaluation.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Peace. Will it be possible to put back the agenda on the screen?
Okay.
So we don't miss anyone, yes. So please share and let's see the agenda again. Thank you. While she's doing that, thank you very much, everyone who has been a part of this meeting, from the listeners to the speakers. I believe we've had some, I believe we've actually gained something, even if it's one small tiny bit of information from what has gone on here since we started this meeting at 4:15. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. So this is the part where the general evaluator, which is I, will call for the different bits of evaluation from the people who have been playing roles in this meeting. And we are going to start with the table topics evaluation. And the table topics evaluator is Toastmaster Amara. So Toastmaster Amara, over to you. I think this session is also supposed to be timed, so please keep your reports within the time limits allocated to you. So Toastmaster Amara, over to you for table topics evaluation.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tari. Once again, good evening, Toastmasters and guests. And I'm here this evening to evaluate our table topics participants. So first we have TMSA, who chose question number 4, and her question was, do you believe in reincarnation? Toastmaster AC started by telling us, yes, she do, and she took us back to history, back to culture, what it is about reincarnation, the belief we have in our various families about incarnation. She took us back to memory lane, what people believe about Wenjes and all of that. She even gave us instances using her family about her younger sister who looked so much like her grandmother, even though they were not opportune to see their grandmother. And her father so much loved her because he believes, oh, she looks like his mom. And according to her, that if when they are given food at home, she gets the bigger portion because they believe she looks like her grandmother. So Toastmaster A said that was a very good one. I love the clarity in your language. Everything you spoke was so clear. Your vocal varieties, the tone, the speed, you were audible enough. I was happy also that you were able to use your hand to give us some gestures, which were also good. And more importantly, Toastmaster Essie,
You were able to carry your audience along, and you felt so comfortable doing it. So well done, Toastmaster AC. That was a very good one. So the second person we have was Toastmaster Peace. And our question was question number one. What does culture mean to you? Toastmaster Peace, like Toastmaster Joy had said earlier, if I have a little knowledge about culture, I want to tell you this evening that you gave me a better understanding about culture. You took us back what culture is, that for you, culture is more than the way of life. More, not just the way of life, but you believe culture is more because this is something you have to learn. And you gave us instances of situations that has happened around you that you needed to learn a lot of things about a particular culture. So well done, Toastmaster. Peace. And I want to commend you for carrying your audience along. You were, though at some point you were not that audible, but I guess um, 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 that is beyond you. So what I think you would do next time, try as much as you can to see that your voice is more audible and your audience will be able to hear you very well. But by and large, you did very well. Everything about your presentation was okay. Well done, Toastmaster. Peace. So the third person we have is Toastmaster Emmanuel Adigi, who took the question number two. And the question is, tell us about a time you picked your dreams against all odds and how did it go? Wow, such a great question. I must say, such a great question. But guess what? Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Emmanuel Agege was able to do justice to this question. He understood everything about this question. Though a kind of self-explanatory, but I want to urge all of you that he did justice to it and he understood it very well. He took us back to memory lane. He gave us stories about himself, how he dreamt about being a musician. This, yes, at some point in our life while growing up, all of us had always want to be something or the other. But along the line, something will strike us or change our impression about something, which is practically what happened to Toastmaster Emmanuel Agige. At some point, he wanted to be a musician, yes. He loved it, the whole dancing, singing, and everything. But guess what? He was opportuned to be at a labor room sometime, and he saw the pain a woman needs to go through while putting to birth. And he saw what the nurses did to her. And guess what? That singular act, that action, that experience he got changed his mindset entirely. Changed his mindset entirely into going into either nursing or becoming a medical doctor. And guess what? This has brought him to where he is today. And he's doing perfectly well. He loves what he's doing. He's doing it very, very well against all odds. Well done, Toastmaster Emmanuel Agigi. And the last person we have is Toastmaster Tari. And her question is, if you were given a chance to choose your power as a deity, what will it be and why? When I got that question, at some point I felt like a small god. Toastmaster Tari, I want to tell you that you have taught me what love is. And I'm telling you right now that each and every one of us who listened to you understood what love is. You said it all. You said it all. All we need is love to make the world in a better place. And you took us back spiritually. I wanted to change your name to Toastmaster Pastor Tari. I don't know if I'm permitted, or Prophet or Deaconess Tari, because you quoted the Bible very well. What did I think you would have done? I thought I would have loved you to to give us more instances, because I want to tell you that this question of yours was so knowledgeable enough that if we had more examples, more instances, I think we would learn more. So you did absolutely well. This was great. We understood it, we got the explanation, and everything was okay about the question. Thanks to all our participants, they all did well. They did perfectly well, and everything was okay. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Okay, over to me, General Evaluator. Thank you very much, our table topics evaluator. Great evaluation there. Next, we'll go on to the manual speeches. The evaluator for the manual speeches should come up now. Toastmaster Folu, is she available now, or do we move on to something else? Toastmaster Folu, are you available now, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm available. Thank you.
Okay, over to you.
Right. So I would start with the first speech, and that was given by Toastmaster Essay. First, I'd like to confirm, Toastmaster Essay, do I have your attention?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So I'll just proceed. All right. So Toastmaster Essay, your speech was titled Oya Gist Me. Interesting title there, but definitely apt, I would say. Your speech objective was to practice developing a comms plan, and I would say you met the objective. You had a really decent structure. You had an opening, a body, and a conclusion. And without a doubt, your opening was dramatic, typical of you. Toastmaster Essay's speeches are like that. So if you're almost dozing off for any reason, her opening will jolt you, for sure. You started off with explaining the meaning of the title Oya Gist Me, which was good. I see that you incorporated the feedback from your last evaluation, because we had said at the time that we should not assume audience knowledge. We might have a varied audience and they just might not know what Oya Gist Me means. And you did so well. You explained the meaning of that, so everyone was carried along. I liked how in the course of your speech, you said, there must be communications in your communication plan. I thought that was really good. You were generous with examples. You had various forms of examples to explain the different aspects of developing a communication plan. I like the clarity of your voice, the vocal variety. That is one strength you have. You really know how to play with voice inflections. You were comfortable. I mean, audience awareness was great. What did I think you could have done better? I thought at some point your pace was a bit rushed. I also could not see your video, so I don't know if it was from my end or if indeed you forgot to turn on your video. And so I missed the gestures. I couldn't see your body language and all of that. So even though you used quite a number of examples, snippets of examples, it would have been great to share one whole, I mean, the bulk of your examples should have come from one particular communication plan, and then you just talk us through certain processes and then use the examples from there. But you gave us various bits of that. So all in all, I thought it was a really interesting speech. I actually learned from it. And I'm really looking forward to your next speech. And I'd like to say congratulations for getting to level 3. I know that you're fired up now and you're not letting up. Thank you, Toastmaster Essay, for thrilling us with that beautiful speech. I will now move on to my second evaluation. Toastmaster Uche, do I have your attention?
Yes, you have my attention.
Okay. Toastmaster Uche's speech was titled Project Equator. Project Equator. And the purpose was to practice strategies for adjusting to unexpected changes to a finalized plan. I really liked the flow of your plan. It clearly was well thought through. You took us through the entire structure was decent. You gave us an opening, a body, and then of course the conclusion. I thought the title was interesting though. I wasn't, when I heard Project Equator, I actually wasn't expecting a digitalization type of project, but I mean, knowing you, you would always put a spin to things. So I liked how you explained the link between the title and the actual project, and then you took us through the roadmap of your project. That was really good because we had to follow through. Your pace was good, not rushed, and so we could essentially step by step follow you because it was quite a technical one there. I also liked how at the start of it, you explained to the audience what the expectations would be with regards to their participation. That was clear. And then the audience participation and engagement, I would say, was very good, as evidenced by Toastmaster Agege picking up what I would call an artifact, going live in August for a project that starts, that kicked off on the 1st of September. That was a good catch. And then the questions we had from the audience as well. I thought that they were really good, very intelligent and valid questions. I got to learn a lot from there as well. What do I think you could have done better? Toastmaster Uche, I thought you spent quite a lot of time on the slide that had to do with case for change. It had lots of figures and so on. I thought you dwelled a bit too much there. I also felt you could have repeated the instruction, the audience guide, so to speak, at the end of your speech, just to refresh their memory, and perhaps you might have had one or two additional participants, and then you exceeded the time, even though I know we couldn't see the time cards. But all in all, I thought I really liked what you did. Your vocal variety was good. You've taken, you've incorporated the feedback from the last. Your gestures were appropriate. Your hands were not flailing or anything of the sort. And it was clear you were comfortable. You delivered well. You gave us a really interesting and informative speech, I would say, and that project is definitely a laudable one. I'm looking forward to the implementation, and congratulations for concluding your level 4. So welcome to level 5. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Tari, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Folu. That was a rich one, as usual. We didn't expect anything less. I'd like to go on to the reports from the other role players. So can we have the accounter's report? Accounter's report, please. Toastmaster of the day, who was the accounter, please? I can't see it on the screen. Toastmaster, please, are you here? Am I being heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. The accounter, please, can we have your report? Or if you're not available, can we go on to the next? Can we have the timer's report, please?
Okay, let me take the timer's report before the counter comes in. Okay, so for the manual speeches, Essay spoke for 7 minutes 45 seconds. Uche spoke for 14 minutes 25 seconds. And for the Toastmasters, for the table topics, everyone spoke within 2 minutes 30 seconds. The highest time was by Essay, and it was 2 minutes 20 seconds, making all the table topics qualified and valid. Thank you very much. And for the evaluations, they were all within time frame. Although Toastmaster Amara was almost giving us a sermon, it was almost going above time, but was well managed. Thank you very much. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Okay, Toastmaster, please, I'd like to clarify. You mentioned the duration of time used for each person for the manual speeches. But Toastmaster Uche's speech of 14 minutes, was that within his own allocated time for that particular speech?
Yes, that's.
Can you clarify?
That particular speech is a long speech, so it is within 15 minutes time range. It's a speech of 7 to 15 minutes.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So on to the grammarian report now. Toastmaster Ngozi Oguli, can we have your report, please?
All right. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, for the opportunity given to me to act in these shoes today. I must say I'm blessed to have all the speakers. I must say that I'm glad to have all the speakers today, making my work easy with their mastery of English words and its usage. So that's good to say that I didn't find much of grammatical errors, except from ones that I heard someone say, so now, and I think the right word should have been either so or now, as relates to the intent of that message. So using so now is grammatically wrong. Then I heard someone also say, yes, she do. the right word, the right phrase should be yes, she did. And they believe. The right grammar should be they believe. So these are the few grammatical errors I picked for the day. I must say kudos to all the speakers of today because they understood that this is my first time acting in these shoes, and they made my work very easy for me, as I can see and say. The word of the day, artifact, was well used in my own opinion. A lot of the speakers today made use of that, and I applaud everyone that spoke today that patronized me. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, for giving me this opportunity. I don't take it for granted in any way. Thank you very much. And that's my report, the report from my own end.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'm waiting to receive the button. Thank you very
yes,
much.
I hand over the button.
I received the button.
Okay.
My eyes
okay.
are on the clock.
Yeah, I'm learning the ropes.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ngozi. Thank you. We appreciate that report. Is the counter on now, or do we just move ahead? 5 seconds.
Yes, the counter is here.
Okay, go ahead with your report, please. Our counter.
Yeah, me too. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good day, everyone. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for the beautiful speeches. Although I came late due to the nature of my job, so I wasn't on to. So from my list here, we have Toastmaster Peace. So I'm going to start from the bottom to the top. So we have Toastmaster Peace with 2 R's. Okay, 1 R's and 3 and 2 M's. And we have Toastmaster Ngozi with 3 M's and the award winner for the for the R's goes to Toastmaster Amara with 5 R's. Please forgive my my irregularity. This is my first time of handling the this piece. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nsikak. Yes, thank you for attempting the role. You actually did well. The only thing is that you didn't count your own R's and M's. I think you would have taken the award yourself.
Yes, he's the champion.
But that was a good one. That was, I think I counted like 6. And if you're saying Amara is a winner with 5, then please let's reconsider. Thank you very much for that.
Exactly.
Wow.
Thank you very much for that update. At least you got us laughing. That's really important in meetings. So thank you, everyone. I think I've gone through all of the role players' reports, and I will just try and briefly give my own report as the general evaluator of today's meeting. Now, like I explained earlier, the role of the general evaluator is to observe everything that has gone on in the meeting and give feedback at the end of the meeting. So this particular meeting started at about 4:16 p.m., which is like a minute after our scheduled time of 4:15. Not too bad in and of itself. I noticed that the sergeant at arms was unavailable, and it looks like he didn't hand the baton over to anyone else. Now, the sergeant at arms has a very important role, and that's to use the gavel to start the meeting, to signify the start of the meeting, and then take us through our club mission statement, and then hand over to the president for the president's remark. It's really important that every meeting is started that way, because the flow, that's that beginning actually sets the pace for the rest of the meeting, right? If we start sharply, then it's more likely that all the other role players will follow suit and also want to deliver their own aspects of their roles in that sharp manner. So I think it's really important that before every meeting, all role players have like a small or a mini meeting, if you can even do a test run, go very good, better still. But at least 15 minutes, 30 minutes before the start of the meeting, Toastmaster of the day, please always ensure that all your role players are available so that we don't start asking, is this person on the call? Is this person on the call? So that's very important. I also noticed that the word of the day, which was artifact, was supposed to tie with the theme of the month, which was initially supposed to be culture. But that changed at the last minute to reaching for the stars. It went back to the former theme of reaching for the stars because we felt culture should actually be in October. This is just the last meeting for September. We're not yet in October. And Toastmaster of the day, I think you should have gone back to inform the grammarian and also inform the table topics master about that change. But since that wasn't changed, we now had like, two different things we're talking about: artifact, which relates to culture, even the table topics related to culture, but then the theme of the day was something else. So that's something you need to put together before the start of a meeting. Let everything align. Theme should align with the word of the day. It should also align with the table topics and whatever else we want to do around that theme. So that's really important to say. I like how Toastmaster of the day went about her role, even when she called on her role players to speak about their different roles and they left one or two things out. It was so beautiful to see that she swept right in and, picked up the pieces, so to speak, for that particular role. And that was a good thing to note, and that was a good thing that happened. So thank you very much. Another thing I would want to comment on is network issues. So if you're going to play any role, please ensure that you're in a place where network favors you the most. So, and I mean, that's part of preparation. When network favors you, yes, we can't control everything, but I think if we really prepare or have one or two other network, a standby, it will really help us a lot. So the very role players did well: the timekeeper, the hour counter, the grammarian, and the speech evaluator, Toastmaster Folu. I particularly enjoyed the way you evaluated, making reference to the last speech the speaker had given and the feedback they got at that time. It makes more sense. So evaluation is not evaluation. Evaluation will not make much sense if we just evaluate on surface level. There has to be something you're looking out for based on what the person has done before. So if the person has done a speech before and been given a feedback, that feedback must be incorporated into the next speech the person gives, and reference must be made to it. So it's always a good thing to actually ensure that whoever is evaluating a particular speech already knows what the feedback from the last speech was. I think that will help us make more progress as time goes on. I don't think there's anything much again. I think we kind of kept within time. It's 5:51 p.m. by my time now. I don't think we've done too badly with time. I hope that everyone had fun while we were at this. I will quickly hand over this session to the president from Pecten Toastmasters, Toastmaster Uche, to carry on from here and close the meeting afterwards. Over to you, Toastmaster Uche.
All right, thank you so much, Toastmaster Tari. Please, if you have a cup of water around you, can you just take it and drink on my behalf? And please, let's unmute and give her a round of applause.
Hey,
Like, that was a mouthful. Thank you so much for giving us that very deep general evaluation. I really, that's what Toastmasters is all about. It's usually a three-course meal. There's after you finish giving all the wonderful speeches and you have table topics and you have evaluations, at the end we need to know how well we did. So thank you so much, General Evaluator Toastmaster Tari, for doing this for us. Toastmaster of the day, thank you so much for all that you do for Toastmasters and for taking your time to put the whole thing together today. I like the slides you put together. I would say keep it up. And I think other Toastmasters will also learn to use slides at the appropriate time. I'll then go over to give a few announcements. I will first start by saying that this is the season for renewal of dues. This is the season for renewal of dues. In Toastmasters, Toastmasters is like a school, really. is a communication and leadership school. And we have at least 11 pathways that you can benefit from. Whatever it is that you're doing, it doesn't matter. Are you a communications person? There is visionary communication. Are you want to become a comedian, or you want to add humor to some of the kind of speeches you make? You can go through the pathway of engaging humor. There are just so many pathways that are bespoke to the needs, that's the particular needs that you have. And there is no place you can get a better deal than in Toastmasters. For the Toastmasters who are already members, in September, the deadline for us to renew our dues is September 30th. And our money bag, who is Toastmaster Amara, is on the call. You can always reach her to renew your dues. For new people who are intending members, this is the time to make up your mind. If you reach out to Toastmaster Amara, she will take you through the process of registering for Toastmasters. You would grow through the ladder of communication and leadership, and I bet you your life will never remain the same. The next announcement is that we will be having our tips and tricks session next tomorrow on 30th September, 12 noon, which is our lunch and learn. Tips and tricks, our lunch and learn by 12 noon. We'll have it from 12 to 1. We'll have our tips and tricks session. And this time we'll be having no other person than our area director himself, Toastmaster Chooks. And he'll be taking us on what he has termed on the shoulder of giants. It will be our inauguration of our mentorship program. And I'll hand over to Toastmaster Tari, our able VPE, and I'm sure she has had a glass of water right now, to just tell us what this mentorship program is all about and how it's going to work. We'll just give her a few minutes to take this. Toastmaster Tari, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster Uche, Mr. President. So tips and tricks, like Toastmaster Uche has already said, will hold on Thursday, and essentially we're just going to be talking about mentorship, which Toastmaster Chooks will be anchoring. And it is very important that each member of Pecten Toastmaster actually has a mentor to guide them. There's a quote by John Crosby that says, "A mentor is a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction." It is very important, if you must go on to this journey, grow to the next level on this journey, that you have someone holding your hands and actually taking you along the way. So on Thursday, all this will be unraveled. We are sending emails to the mentors so that they know who their mentees are, and the project will kick off officially on Thursday, and I hope that we'll all make good use of it. Now, the mentor is not just to see you through taking speeches and all that. Even in the funds drive, even in the payment of dues, the mentor has so many responsibilities, and I'm sure they will be able to keep up. So we look forward to seeing you all on Thursday for tips and tricks, and that's about it for now. Back to you, Toastmaster Uche. I hope I haven't left anything out.
All right, thank you so much. I think another Toastmaster by your side needs some attention, or maybe she's about joining the meeting. All right, thank you so much for giving us that explanation of what's going to happen. So you don't want to miss it, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests. On Thursday, we will be having this session for 1 hour, and it will be exciting, interesting, where you will see how mentoring in Toastmasters works and the benefits that you can get from it. We'll also be sharing and telling people who they have been mapped to as mentors. And I tell you, it will be a wonderful time, a wonderful 1 hour that we have. So to share this message across, if you join the Pecten WhatsApp group, you'll be able to get the link so that you can join the meeting. We'll also send it to you via email. I also want to use this opportunity to tell you to please give speeches and also complete your projects. If you're registered already on the Toastmasters platform, what are you waiting for? Please go back to your pathways. Make sure you're able to complete your project, and I bet you will be learning a thing or two. I'll just want to end by saying, okay, first of all, by acknowledging people who are joining for the first time. I've seen a lot of new people or new names on the call, and we would like to open up their microphones and tell us what they think about this meeting and if they would like to keep attending this meeting. So if today is your first time joining the meeting, you can raise your hand. And if not, I could also call a couple of people on the call who I may be seeing their name today for the first time. So you can raise your hand and just give us your feedback. I see Toastmaster Tarire. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Toastmaster Tarere. Can you please unmute and tell us how you found today's meeting? Hello, Toastmaster Oji Tarere. If you're speaking, we can hear you. Okay, maybe I'll move over to Toastmaster Joan Onuobia. Can you tell us how you found today's meeting? Hello, Toastmaster Joan. Am I speaking to just myself? I'm having that feeling right now.
We can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yeah.
All right, so let's listen to Toastmaster Kolawole Adebola. Do you mind unmuting and telling us what you thought about this meeting? We're very happy to hear from you, Adebola. All right, I can see that Toastmaster Joan is trying to say something, but she's typing it in. Toastmaster Joan, we can see you're typing in. Can you unmute and speak if you can?
Good evening, everyone.
Hello,
My
good
name is
evening.
Yeah, I found today's meeting very insightful and interesting. You guys are really doing a lot, and I hope to continue to attend the meeting. Thank you.
All right, so is it hope or would you keep attending the meeting? We would be happy to have you.
Okay, I will keep attending the meeting.
Okay, so thank you so much. The first step really would be for you to go into the chat box. There is the link, the WhatsApp link for you to join the group. And that's the fastest way for you to get all the information that you need to have in Pecten Toastmasters. So just click the link and you join you can take it on WhatsApp, you get the WhatsApp link. You get into the WhatsApp group, and from there you can have all the fun and get all the gist that SA gives, on the group.
Yeah, I'm already in the WhatsApp group.
Oh, you're already in WhatsApp group. Oh, okay, fantastic. That's great. All right. So if you connect with the VP membership, you can then take the conversation further. Wouldn't you like to have Toastmaster by your name? Toastmaster. Thank you. So Toastmaster Joan, do you want to speak now? Or Toastmaster Vikolala? Toastmaster, who is Toastmaster Vikolala? I really want to know who that person is. Toastmaster Vikolala, do you want to speak and tell us how you?
Okay. Yes,
yeah,
my
hi.
name is my audience is Afoke. Nice to be here. Thank you all.
Like seriously, Toastmaster Afoke, you are the Vikolala.
Are you serious? No, man, that is the voice of our vice president membership. I didn't know he was on the call. He should have been the one that would have spoken about our renewal, him and Toastmaster Amara, who are the two people who make sure that we are renewing our dues as at when due. Thank you very much for speaking there, Vikolala. We can see that Toastmaster Joan has said that she is okay, she's on board, and that her feedback is that the meeting was very creative, eventful. She's looking forward to more exciting times. All right, thank you so much for all this feedback, and we hope to see you next meeting. Remember that one of our goals in Toastmasters is that you're able, in Pecten Toastmasters, you're able to bring someone to the meeting. So what are you waiting for? You can get someone to join this meeting next time. In fact, you can start from Thursday, where they can learn about mentorship from our area director. He's a very senior person in Toastmasters, so you will learn so much. Bring someone to the next meeting, and I'm sure you have a fantastic time. The next meeting will be advertised on the group, so join the group, get the details of the next meeting, and we'll have as much fun in the next meeting as possible. Thank you so much. The floor is now open for you to say hi and hello to other people. Thank you so much for attending today's meeting, and bye.
Bye. Thanks all for joining.
Bye.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Nice
See you on
one.
Thursday.
See you on Thursday. Bye.
Thursday. Bye.